Okay, so here we are in Microsoft Windows Server 2012. We're in the 70-411 book, and this video is going to be on activity 7-5, changing an RODC to a standard DC. So we will just open up our servers, and in the book it says start 411 Server 1 and 411 Server 2 and log on to both as administrators. So 411 Server 1, if it comes up sometime today, we're going to go ahead and log back in. And then we're going to log into the domain administrator for Server 2 as well. And then once that's done, it says on the 411 Server 2, open a PowerShell prompt and uninstall DNS, because it's also read-only type remove -Windows feature DNS -restart. So once this starts going, we'll be able to put in that command. And of course, right as I pause it, it opens up to this 411 Server 2. So we actually want that to get in, because it's going to drive nuts if it's not. And there we go. Then we're going to enter remove. All right. And it says DNS is removed and the server restarts. So while it's doing that, I'm going to push pause and we can move on to step number 3. Alright, so that didn't take very long. And now we can go back in. And go back into our PowerShell command. And for step 3, it says next uninstall the domain controller function. This command does not remove the role, it just demotes the 411 Server 2 back to being a member server. Type uninstall -add SDOMAIN and press enter. And it says when you're prompted for the local administrator password, which you need to log on to the server when it's no longer a DC server, type password 01 and then press enter and then confirm PASSWORD and enter. The server will be automatically restarted when this operation is complete. The domain will no longer exist after you uninstall Active Directory domain services from the last domain controller in the domain. Do you want to continue with this operation? When the message states that the service restarts automatically, press enter to continue. When the operation is finished, 411 Server 2 restarts. So we will push enter, and here we go again. So I will pause it again, and then once that is finished, we will continue on to step 6 in this process. But in the meantime, okay, so now it has us back at the 411 domain login. So we want to do log into the administrator account with a password. There we go. And then, so step 6 is log on to the 411 server 2 as administrator. When you install Active Directory and DNS, the DNS server address in the IP address configuration was set to 127.0.0.1 because this server was a DNS server. You need to set it back to the address of the 411 server. Set the preferred DNS server address on the network interface to 10.11.1.1 and remove the alternate address. So we will go to, let's this. Install the Active Directory and DNS server address and IP address configured. Let me just set it back. So we're looking for the one that is 127.
Mom, please press me.
Alright, so the IPv4 address 10.11.1.3 is not the one we want. And the DNS server is 10.11.1.2, which is the actual 411 server 1 address. So let's close Ethernet 0. And we'll look at this one. This is the one we want. So we're going to go into this IPv4. So when it says right here, the preferred DNS server was configured to the 127.0.0.1. And we need to set it back to the address of the 411 server 1, which is 10.11.1.2 and remove the alternate address in the and I do believe we are going to just leave this assigned this address, but we're just changing the DNS server. So we're going to click OK on that, and then it says on the internet IPv6, let's go to properties, and it says click to obtain an IPv6 address automatically. It's already done that. And then click the obtain DNS server automatically. There we go. Okay. And then close and close. So step 7 is to remove server 2 from a domain. Right click start and click system. And next go to computer name. and then click Change Settings. And we're going to click the Change button here and click Work Group and type Work Group. In the text box, then click OK in the computer name. Changes dialog box, then click OK. When you're prompted to restart the system, click OK, close, and then restart now. So we're going to click OK, and then click OK here. We are the account, so EDMIN. Alright, so welcome to the work group. Ooh, that's original. You must restart your computer to apply these changes. Okay, we knew that. Once we hit close, it will automatically restart, and it'll tell you that all these windows are open. So we're going to close all those, and then hit close and restart now. And while we're waiting for that, we can pause it. Oh, okay, so after reading on, it says we're going on to 411 server 1. So now we just have to go on to server 1, go into Active Directory, which we're going to have to log in again because it timed out. Oh, make sure to use your domain. So, Active Directory users and computers. And then we're going to click the domain controllers, OU, once that comes up. And then verify that 411 server 2 computer account has been removed. If it's still there, delete it. So we want domain controllers. And 411 server 1 is the only domain controller. Woohoo! So now let's log back on to 411 server 2. And then from there, open a PowerShell prompt, type install add S domain controller domain name. Let's just open our command prompt. And what are we typing in here? Install dash add S DOMAIN. CREDENTIAL. Alright. Hopefully I did not misspell anything. so that it can go through the way that it's supposed to. Ah! Now I can't even get it. Aha, there we go. When you're prompted for the Safe Mode Administrator password, type password 01. What's the username? Oh, when you're prompted for the credentials, type administrator and password 01. The rest of the settings are the defaults for the new DCs, which include installing DNS and configuring the paths to the C drive windows. The site is chosen based on the server's IP address, or if no subnets are defined, the default site is used. When you're prompted for the safe mode password, administrator password, which is right here, type password 01. Press enter, and then type password 01 to confirm, and press enter. What I just did. Confirm a safe administrator password. PASSWORD01. Your target server will now be configured as a domain controller. What? Press enter to confirm. You see warnings messages about the default security settings, dynamic IP addresses, and DNS delegation, which you can ignore. When the configuration is finished, the server restarts. Leave both servers running, and you're continuing to the next activity. So, sure, enter. Pretty sure that's what we just... Aha, verification of credential permissions failed. So, install ADDS domain controller and press enter. And domain name, all of that. So username administrator, and password is password 01. And if it's the 411 DOM local, I had to change my password earlier, so mine actually has 2 1s in it. So safe word, password, whatever, and then confirm. And we'll go ahead and do that again. And there we are. Warning, Microsoft servers, do this, do that. Okay, so once it's done with this, then we leave both servers running and we're going to the next activity, except for we're not going to the next activity on here. So catch me on the 8-5 recording. And